Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RankKing's court.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another RankKing's Court episode. As always, the Rank King himself is here.
Yes, he is, baby. Yes, he is, baby. Yes,
Welcome back, Rank King. Welcome back.
As we all know, Noble Knight Greg is not able to be with us tonight, but
He was slain.
we'll call you the Giant Killer for that one. The Giant
He's the
Killer.
Giants.
We can imagine that he might be. I don't know.
Touche.
Oracle Vo is here as well, behind the computers, always doing what he does. And welcome back, one of the original members of the Rank King's Court, Deke. Welcome back there,
Welcome
fella.
back.
Good to be back, boys. I've traveled to lands unventured. Good to be back. I need a shower and a mead. Mead feels like what we drink.
Yeah, that's what royalty drinks. That's what's in his
Lit.
bottle right there.
Me too, baby.
Don't even know.
That's see-through mead.
But yeah, actually, this past weekend I was at a draft, and my buddy was like, "Oh, I've been making some mead. I want you guys to try." And I was like, we just
Nothing like
people
bathtub mead.
People just make mead now. All right, that's fine.
Got it.
But when we got there, he was like, "Yeah, something went wrong with it, so I had to toss it." I was like,
Nope, that's just how it tastes.
"Yeah,
It
I'm
was just bad. It's just a bad
just
flavor.
assumed it was a
mead.
bad taste." But yes, we are here, guys. It feels great. It feels good to have. I don't know. It's just good to be here on another Tuesday.
Doesn't
Which-
feel like a Tuesday, to be honest.
No, it honestly doesn't. I
Really
almost
doesn't.
did not show up because I forgot it was Tuesday.
Well,
Employee of the month.
yeah, exactly. Vo, do us a good old favor there, fella. Since we're so glad to be here this evening, tell us exactly where the show is from.
All right, you got it, Ranking. Tonight, the Rankings Court is live today from the Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It is a place where you can transform yourself inside and out, with a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
Oh, it just feels so good, boys. I'm pumped. This is great.
Pumped.
Some things that I'm a
Oh, hi,
little...
Foreigner.
Hey, welcome back, Foreigner, as always, our number one fan, as so to speak, even though he's not he's doesn't believe that I'm his number one fan, but you know what? It all corresponds. It all depends.
You know, some people just know that I'm the Rank King, you know?
He sure
do
wore a
it.
crown.
I had to do almost a little spit take on that one,
Do I have a crown?
but I think I'm wearing your crown, actually.
Yeah, I don't. you definitely are. I gave it to you when I left the kingdom. I can do one of these Johns, I guess.
There you go. That's a perfect crown.
The time for in essence would be if you guys all did Burger King and you asked for the crowns in order to come in.
I just want to say, guys, I texted a bunch of people that I was going to be on tonight, and I put in one group chat, "Oh no, I dropped this link. I hope nobody claps my fucking cheeks." And Berriman says I'm here to clap cheeks. So
All right, I
Shout out
was
to
wondering where
Behrman.
he was going with that. Yeah.
shout out to I just want to get some people in here. So sorry to cut you off there, Austin.
Oh,
I
you're
do
good.
think we need some. Burger
Before we
King
get
crowns.
into
Oh, hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
Hey. Before we get into
keep
tonight's
Austin off.
topic, let's bring it back to last week.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with the fact of not having Greg on a show and not talking about Spider-Man. It's like his bread and butter. That's his favorite superhero. And honestly,
tattoo.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple. So, yeah, it all depends. But I thought last show was a very, very well done one. Everyone had a little bit of their own to bring to the table, despite the fact that I don't know if the vote was cast for who won the Spider-Man thing. I don't care to know because I know that I'm obviously not winning.
Austin,
because
it was me. It was me.
People just
that at all.
vote against royalty, and that's fine. But Tobey Maguire is the #1 Spider-Man, and that's just how it should be. So
I can't believe the utter disrespect to Andrew Garfield. That's all I'm gonna say. Utter disrespect.
Honestly, I didn't even know who that was. I've never seen those Spider-Mans.
They were okay, man. It was like, that's my least favorite take on Spider-Man, but I'm a big believer that all these additions and all that stuff, like, I believe that the name of these superheroes is like just their name. You know what I mean? Like, you can be Spider-Man and not really be the same Peter Parker. So people, like Batman and Christian Bale and all that bullshit.
Right.
They put their own spin on it, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it just depends what your flavor of the week is. Mine personal, I'm not going to say it because I love all three of you individually at different levels of different parts of my life. So I'm not going to pick a favorite.
That's fair.
When it came to the top 10, I thought that was perfectly placed. I don't believe that there was a.
You got some flack.
I don't think there was flack, man. I think that, in my own opinion,
there was flack. You just don't think you were wrong.
Exactly, because I never believe that I'm wrong.
Austin never comments on the top 10. He lets me respond to everybody.
It's called delegation, good friend. One thing that royalty has taught me. So
he's hiding up in his tower, just tossing paper airplanes down to the people.
Carrier
pigeons, yeah.
With little comments on them, little messages.
Here's my only real issue with this list. I think Kingpin is drastically low because he's the only one on here, really, that doesn't have a superpower but still competes.
That's true. And a lot of it, I made the argument last week where it seems that, Kingpin is so low on people's lists, but in reality, Batman is so high on other people's lists, and it's almost the same ideology. It's just that one is a hero and one is a villain. And I tell you what, I say this all the time, the Into the Spider-Verse version of Kingpin is by far my favorite.
No, it's awesome. It's very, very, very cool. And I love Into the Spider-Verse.
They drastically increased his size, which was, to say the least. And, that's just all about just being, quote unquote, the big bad guy. So I don't hold anything against it. But as the webs start dwindling, we get into tonight's topic. A show that I've watched for how long, even when I wasn't supposed to, because I was not allowed to watch this show when I was growing up as a child. I would just always be on Cartoon Network. And little to my knowledge, there was a program that came after it known as Adult Swim. And Adult Swim had a whole bunch of different shows, meaning from, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, King of the Hill, and probably one of my favorites, Family Guy. It's just always a show that pushes its boundaries and succeeds. It's been on for what I would say, like, they have to be on
21 seasons.
I was going to say they're 20.
Yeah, it started in 1999.
Yeah. So, a show that just continues to go, almost like, The Simpsons and South Park and ones like that are just virtually successful, man. And honestly, there's a lot of things that they're like, oh, this is just a ripoff of The Simpsons, only more drastic. And I'm like, but it succeeds. It succeeds in its own way. I mean, a lot of people do compare it to The Simpsons, but in my argument, I believe it is a much more funnier show.
It depends. You know what I mean? Like, I never really sat down and watched The Simpsons. So to me, I always watch Family Guy more. But I know, like, most of the storylines and characters from The Simpsons. So it's a preference thing, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can feel that.
And one thing that I always love about the Family Guy seasons comes to us in our first radical ranking.
Do you guys still do that or no?
We haven't. We have not. No.
Goddamn turkeys.
No one understands tradition anymore, damn it. I love how they call out obvious shit like the fact that Stu hasn't aged in 20 years, Berriman says. That's my favorite part.
Jeez. So one of the glorious things about Family Guy is that the musical numbers, believe it or not, are huge. Seth MacFarlane, always a big musical fan and loves to incorporate music into the show as much as he can. And sometimes it's a little long for my taste, but I do enjoy that music is always brought to a show, especially in comedic taste.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get into with our first radical ranking, the top Family Guy songs that are listed.
They do the score for the whole episode. Like,
yeah,
they really, every single noise made on that show, they have a full orchestra doing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Even the theme song is a musical number.
It's beautiful. No spoilers, though, Vo. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. You learn well. The one that sees all cannot say all, to say the least. Let's move to number 5. One of the earlier ones and one of the more crude ones that I just it just was like hilarious, but not in a sense because of the topic. But number 5 is You Have AIDS.
It's a great title.
That's the name of the song, dude. And the whole point of it was literally it's a cutaway scene where he was just like, you know what? I could tell you this in a bad way, but I'm gonna let these guys decide. And Peter joins a barbershop quartet.
Not HIV, but full-blown AIDS.
It's absolutely terrible. But again, like, when people hear terrible news, like, at some point, haven't you guys always wondered, wouldn't they just want to break into song and try to make it a little bit better instead of just being like, nah, like, you have AIDS. It's not HIV, but full-blown AIDS. You know, it
would make it better. When you put it like that, it would make it better.
I would be clapping through my tears.
Yeah. Joyful
like,
tears.
I'm glad that you guys took the time to arrange a musical number, but no, I'm still like, this is bad.
That's the other side of it. So, like, did they just have this song ready for all AIDS patients, or did they wait until they had the song prepared to let this man know he had AIDS?
They're like, it's time. Everyone, come in here.
Come on. It's like servers at a restaurant. Like, it's a birthday. Oh, the guy has AIDS. You have AIDS. Yes, you have. Just so funny.
There is a particular episode where I'm not even going to try to say it because it's in reverse. And it's an episode where literally the time machine malfunctions and everything is put into reverse. And there's a scene in that episode where time starts literally going back throughout the years, and the quartet comes back out of the hospital and they're practicing, and they're like, all right, that's going to knock that guy dead. And I was just like, oh, no.
So good.
Why'd you have to say it like that?
Foreigner wants to know if there's a musical number at the end of the show.
Maybe. I don't know. Stay tuned. That's
King's Court. Yes, King's Court.
Could be the great debate. You never know.
Ooh.
Well, on that note, let's move on to number 4. Another one that was crudely interpreted, and I love it for it. Number 4, Thank the Whites. This was a terrible. Basically, Chris starts dating Jerome's daughter, and in order to make Jerome not feel so bad, Peter starts singing about all the great things that white people gave us. And I knew as soon as they started out with, we gave you Eminem and Justin Bieber too, I said, oh shit, this is not gonna go well.
This is the one that starts down the path of like, so You Have AIDS was such a beautifully written song. First off, Barber Top, it was so funny. They got into some musical numbers that had depth and like a whole song, and you add in other characters and you can see the giant neon lights like this. And now your ranking opens wide open. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so many like one of the very loving lyrics that I got from the song was that we gave you all the songs by Creed.
Yep.
Like, and as soon as I saw that, I thought back to the Dallas Cowboys halftime show where they did Higher.
Yep.
And
The greatest halftime show ever.
It was
that definitely is the best halftime show.
I think so.
Something also about mayonnaise came into this song because for some reason white people love to put mayonnaise on everything, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but it is a stereotype that we have.
I mean, it's a pretty white thing. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Let's move on to our number 3, which is one of the more lengthier ones, but I enjoyed a lot. Number 3, Mr. Booze.
This had to be in there.
Booze.
Yeah.
The entire town is essentially I believe what happens is that Peter ended up getting drunk with his friends and they go to like a public library and I guess they flood the library. And the one thing that I took from that scene was that he took one of the books from the water and was like, "White Fang, no!" and just starts like punching the shit out of it. That's for ruining my 6th grade summer.
Because then they go to the AA meeting, right? And they're basically like, "We're not alcoholics. We just need a controlled place to drink."
Exactly. And obviously,
sound logic.
The town gets a notice and notifies Joe, who goes to investigate, and they have the whole place redesigned last minute to look like a sort of a church, and talk about essentially, well, they sing about how alcohol has ruined their lives, and there's a lot of great character notions from that. The weather report guy, Ollie Williams, it's like he used to love all these great music, but now he can only sing in like short, choppy sentences. Who's your favorite music, Artie? Cher. You don't even like Cher.
No, it's good. Their ability to tie back in a ton of these things is just amazing. Like the fact that like they have this wide range of character balance across all of their characters, and they are able to tell individual stories through all their songs for those characters. It's just such an arsenal of funny.
And it came back to more or less how different churches do like sermon songs, because various churches do them different, but this really took it back to like a style of like singing in the choir, I guess, for church that a lot of people brought, man. And what better thing to sing about than booze, right? That's what it's all about. Now we switch from to another drug in a sense. Number 2, a bag of weed.
This was 1 or 2 for me. It was too good. It was just such a good song.
I have heard this one before.
This was. Have you not heard of the other ones about?
I didn't know the booze one or. Yeah.
The booze one's good.
I've never heard the booze one.
All I need is a bag of weed. It's good.
Whole premise of this one is that marijuana becomes illegal in Quahog. Because Brian gets pulled over. Because Peter is literally drunk in the driver's seat after burying Quagmire's cat, which that scene alone is funny enough because it's like, hey, let's shave him. It like cuts like, oh my God, Peter, you killed. He's like, relax, guys. He's got 8 more lives. Okay, 7 more lives. 6. 5. Peter, stop doing what you're doing. Like, so they're driving after raiding his fridge for beer. So he's drunk driving and he gets stopped naturally. And it's like, oh, what do we got? It's like, well, there's an intoxicated individual in the front. There's a blood-soaked corpse in the back seat, and there's a shovel. It's like, well, that all seems fine. I'll take it easy. And a small, probably literally like
Zippy
a bag of weed falls out of Brian's pocket. And he goes, pot, small amount of pot. So Brian, in order to change the retrospective of the town of Quahog, decides to, with Stewie's help, make a song about the benefits of marijuana. And it is wonderful to say the least. Not only is there a lot of wonderful singing in this, there's a lot of different of bottle work, I guess you can call it, because they take a bunch of different bottles and start banging them with little drum. I don't know what those drumsticks are called, but there's a lot of different pipe work, I guess you can call in this one, and it is wonderful to say the least, man. This was a tough one between 1 and 2. I had this one at 1 originally, but I had to think on it because number 1, the freaking FCC.
Okay, I like it.
More or less, Seth MacFarlane does a lot of voices on this show. And for this one, it was Peter, Brian, and Stewie, all voiced by Seth MacFarlane, doing this song. So every time he had to change to a different voice in order to keep the song going. And basically the whole point is that the town of Quahog is literally getting censored.
It's
beyond
such a good episode.
the stand of it, man. And basically the town has enough and they decide to make a song about it. And
yep,
all the stuff that is wonderful to see that's bad on television for you. And it's just great to say the least.
It's one of those episodes, Vo, that if you haven't seen this one, you got to go check out. It's a good episode.
I agree with Berriman on this one.
So the bird is the word is an actual song, right?
It is an actual.
It's an actual physical song.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like
so
I
that
don't know
makes
if that's
sense.
it's not
It's
technically
not technically
eligible.
Family Guy song.
Correct.
No,
Yes.
because they use so many songs where they make like what's the one guy, Dewey something, and he sings the country songs forever. So Bearman, I'm with you that the bird and the word is the best Family Guy, but it's not a Family Guy song.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I will say there is one, Austin. There's
okay.
one that I love for specific reasons. There's a million great songs, right? But in the Road to the Multiverse episode, there is a song called "It's a Wonderful Day for Pie."
For pie. Yep.
And I think that it's very short. It's just a one-off scene. Bo, have you seen the Road to the Multiverse for Family Guy?
No, I haven't.
So they go into infinite universes that Family Guy can reside in, and basically they go to a Disney universe where they are saying it's a wonderful day for pie, and everyone's hanging out, and it's great. And then in walks Morton. Since Walt Disney, notoriously, the rumor has been that he hates Jews, they all turn around and just beat the pulp out of the Jewish character.
Yep.
So it's like, oh my God, Disney's so dark, and then they leave. It is amazing.
Believe the actual term. It's like
Yeah,
Stewie goes,
Bearman.
oh yeah, I forgot. This is a Disney universe.
Yes, yeah.
I
It's
also
so funny.
love every character was depicted as kind of like a Disney character, and this terrible Meg ends up being Ursula.
Oh yeah, it's so good, dude. It's just so good.
Like everyone's so nice, and then you see Meg swinging on the swings, and she has like all these like tentacles, and I was like, oh no, come on, man.
I love that song, but I think that it's top 10 easy. I think that one from a song route is just really funny to me because they'll go everywhere. But I like the list.
It's a good one to start out with, and it's funny that you bring up episodes as we segue to our radical ranking number 2.
Segway.
Segway. Oh, segway. Oh. Got turkeys in there.
For some
As the
reason,
gobble
it switched you and Derek. Like,
Oh god.
Really?
yeah,
It,
put you.
it did. It did.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, welcome. No.
But we're back to normal now. It just randomly did it. I don't know what happened.
Well,
Guess-
as the
guess he's
gobble
just used to the
gobbling
real king
continues,
being.
so does our show. And we bring you to one that I was very decisive about doing because honestly, this could have been my top 10. But we're going with this one as our radical ranking, the top Family Guy episodes.
You're gonna put 5 out of 21 seasons.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's hard to narrow down. We
Well,
we
you know
did
what-
that for the SpongeBob. He said it was going to be hard to narrow it down to 10, and you narrowed this down to 5.
I think that the nice thing about this one is that here's what I'm going to say, Vo. There's no way it's a bad ranking because there's 25 episodes you could rank. I think he's going for some softball points here.
I don't know if that's
He's taking the easy way out.
I don't know if that's an easy one. Believe
He's
me,
hitting
because
off the
our
tee.
final one
Thank you,
comes in
Follinger.
as that's a hard one as well. So
Agreed.
let's start off with the fifth best Family Guy episode. I'm gonna have it here because it's a little Peterbus Unum.
So you're gonna have to.
Yes. So
I'm
the
sorry.
picture.
I have a list up now.
You're good. The picture speaks for itself. This is this is the episode where Peter wants to develop his own in-ground pool. And when the city won't give it to him, he decides to secede from the US and becomes his own country known as Pretoria. And it's just a wonderful, crazy ass episode, man. He goes to the United Nations and he sits in all these seats in all these other countries. And there's like, oh, how can we not forget the greatest land known as Pretoria? I'm so sorry. And he starts aligning with all these like dictator countries, like who show
it's
up
so good. He's basically my favorite part is when he's at the he's at the UN and he's like, how do I get a seat up there? And he has to go bomb America or attack America. Vo, have you seen this episode?
I think I have seen this one. I've like seen bits, like a couple episodes here and there. I didn't watch it like religiously.
This is like notoriously every guy in America has thought about this because it's like I should start my own country. It's so good.
So
I love the flag he made too.
Yeah,
it's a great flag.
Pretty accurate, honestly.
So yeah, he just decides to steal part of Joe's land to occupy Pretoria to have his own pool, and naturally, the United States decides that is a greater threat than anything that is going on right now. So they treat it as almost like a terrorist thing where they cut off all his power, water, electricity, like everything under the sun to kind of build out his own way. Chris goes to leave and he's like, Dad, I can't go to school. He's like, oh yeah, and whose army? Oh, the U.S. Army. Oh, that's a good army. Like,
I like when Lois gives the tour. She's like, we're a small family. It's literally just their house, Bo. She's giving a tour of the country and it's just their house. It's
we'll move on to the next one. I think one of the first episodes I ever saw, and it stuck with me for a long time. Meet the Quagmires. So I'm assuming every married man or woman has thought about this at some point. What would happen if I went back in time and did something different to have a different outlook? Now, that wasn't the goal in mind, as he incorporates Death's help, which I love Death as a character alone. I haven't
seen you. You don't see Death for a long time.
No,
since he got that girlfriend from the pet store.
Yeah, well, that ended, I think, after the end of the episode because she kept rattling on about how animals are great, and he just touches her and she dies. He's like, yeah, check please. But the whole point of this is that Peter ends up going back in time with Dev's help and hangs out with Cleveland for the night. And one of the best scenes in Family Guy history is when they're at the disco bar and and notoriously ends up sleeping.
Sing along.
I just like watching.
Two shots, good point.
And thinks he ends up sleeping with Lois again, but ends up sleeping with Molly Ringwald, the actress. And Lois ends up marrying Quagmire, and all of their kids come out the same except their double S chin.
So good.
I can't unsee it, man. They're just like all their faces are just like totally distorted, and every time they end, it's like giggity giggity goo. Like it's so he has to incorporate Death's help again in order to stop everything and kind of rewind time the way it's supposed to be. And I believe this is where they got they did at the end the Rickrolled troll song. And they were like, hey, you been looking for a new song? Hey, what about this? And like That's how the song came about, apparently.
Yep.
Just a wonderful episode, man. But we move on to, number 3. Touched on it a little bit. Number 3, PTV. As Quahog starts getting censored now, Peter creates his own television studio and brings programs including Quagmire talking about various sexual things while reading, I think, storybooks or something. It's such a weird fucking thing. And it gave us the great freaking FCC song. There's just the greatest Family Guy song of all time. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it now that I'm thinking. But all of this was just so great because we all wonder, what would our lives be like if stuff just stopped getting censored? Like, if the government stopped like bitching about stupid little things like this and started focusing on things that are more important. Obviously, his television show ends up getting like canceled and he fights against the government. It's great, man. I love everything about this episode.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's where I can also hear myself on an echo. It's just a heads up. Can you hear that, Vo, or am I crazy?
I can hear an echo.
Okay, it might be.
Is it mine?
Did it just go away? It just went away.
Yeah,
Whatever
it went
you
away.
changed worked.
Okay.
Don't act like you didn't press a button. I know you did. I know you used your feet. No, I love this episode. I think it's great. I think that it definitely deserves to be top 5. And it was one of those. So there's like so many new episodes that I love that there's only a handful of like the older ones that I remember distinctly. You know what I mean? And PTV is part of that.
And now we go from old to, I guess, if I remember correctly, one of the newest. I'll call it the newest episode because I believe it is the opener to season 9. And then there were fewer.
Yeah, this is my favorite episode of Family Guy.
Technically, I think this is a 2-part episode, so I might be cheating here. But I think
it's only one part.
Is it only one part?
Yeah,
But-
let me look, but I think so.
Okay. So, Vo, if you haven't seen this one, it is basically a play on murder mysteries, so to speak. Everyone gets an invite to this mansion.
It is 2-part. It's my bad.
Oh, it is 2 parts?
Still counts, yeah.
Everyone gets a notice to show up at this mansion to right their wrongs, so to speak. And
that's one part.
It ends up it ends up that the notices were sent out by one James Woods, one character who has wronged almost every single Family Guy Quahogian, I guess you could call them. And what ends up happening is people start getting murdered left and right. And what ends up corresponds is that everyone thinks that it's James automatically. But the lights go out then, and James Woods drops dead with a knife in his back. So now it is all about trying to find who murdered all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I would say, probably it is my brother's favorite episode because he is so hell-bent on murder mysteries, Agatha Christie novels, and everything like that. It is great because the first one to drop is a girl that Quagmire brought that he didn't want anybody else knowing about as like a weird thing.
Stephanie. I remember her name. Just to throw it out there, it isn't not a 2-part. I just did a bunch of research. It was an hour-long special, though. So it was not a 2-part. It was an hour-long special.
Yeah.
And Berriman says it's the first time Family Guy started using advanced animation. This is when the show got significantly more beautiful. 100%.
Yes. And I believe it started off was that it's like the food was ready and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get a plate. It's like Quagmire's, all right, settle down. Like
There's a newer episode where Peter's about to die and there's a ship that comes of all of the dead characters. And he's like naming them. And he goes, and Quagmire's fat girlfriend Stephanie from the murder episode? And she's at the front of the boat waving.
But yeah, the killer was not who I expected. I'm not going to go into details of who it was just because it was perfectly
I
done.
love this episode, though.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
It is
I'll have
one
to watch this one.
I was going to say it's one that you should definitely check
It just
out.
has all the characters, Oz. Like it has every major character with the best side characters and a slow plot that develops over time, and it's just good. It's an hour-long fun.
I forgot. My favorite actual part of this whole episode is every time someone drops and you know that they're dead, Dr. Hartman goes over and checks. He's dead. And he's got like a stick through his like head and like
obviously
all
he's
like
dead.
20 stories. He's dead.
Yeah, it's so good, man.
But it's not the best. And the definite best number one Family Guy episode.
Behrman's gonna fight you if it isn't his pick.
It might. I'm thinking it's gonna be his pick. But number one, episode 1 of season 8, Road to Multiverse.
Yeah, it is not his pick, but I agree. That's my number 2.
It sounds like a good one from what you guys said.
This is where the Pie song comes from, though. So
this is a variant of episodes that came to be from early on in the season where
another hour-long special, I believe.
I think that, yeah, you might be right. That the show centered around Brian and Stewie as they would go on different adventures. You had Road to Rhode Island, Road to Germany, Road to just all these different things. But the number one, Road to Multiverse, man, that's such a wonderful episode just from the standpoint of imagination. Like anything that you can imagine was in this episode. The show starts off with a carnival that they're all attending. And I'll never forget. It was like, see the amazing man, half man, half clam. And he's like, what a ripoff. It's just Kim Cattrall sitting Indian style. It's like, oh my God.
I love they're pressing the button to go to different verses or multiverses, Vo. And they press it once and it's just like sexy female dogs. And Brian goes, love it. And Stewie goes, hate it. And then they go to the next one and it's just naked men. And Stewie goes, love it. And he's like, hate it. And they switch. But they go through everything. The scene where they go back to the first episode and call it the terrible graphics, like Peter's eye does some weird thing. Yeah. That's a good one too.
Road to the pilot, I think.
Road to the pilot. That was that one. There's so many good road to, but multiverse, like it just goes through so many possibilities. And I love when shows do this of like, well, what if it was the Disney show? And like they land in a world where the dogs are humans and the humans are dogs. So Brian is a human, as you can see by the graphic, and it's good. It's real good, man.
Yeah, there's multiple great things from this. They go to a world where someone never shot JFK and the Cuban Missile Crisis never happened. So, and it's like, so JFK didn't get shot. It's like, no, Lee Harvey Oswald shot Mayor McCheese. He shoots the hamburger, and then Jackie Kennedy just starts eating the hamburger. It's terrible. There's also from the way beginning before it even happens. There's always that one carnival things like guess your weight or whatever it was, and it's like Adam West steps up and he's like, let me guess. I guess 187 pounds, and it's like 0.8. He's like, wrong. I'm 97% helium. And then he like just flies away.
There's a lot of good stuff in this episode.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good one.
It is by far the best. They go to like my favorite one is when they go to this, they can't even make out the universe. It's like, ew, where are we at? It's like, I don't know. It's just this choppy block bad universe. Like, Lois, where is my supper? It will be ready soon. Thank you. Yeah. He's like, I'm frightened. Let's go.
It was just really shit graphics. It was so good, Bo.
They actually break the fourth wall and go to a real life world where Stewie is actually like a real baby and Brian is like a white dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, Brian, hit the button. And it turns out that they can't go back to their old universe because the shuffle button is on.
He's like, oh, I had it on shuffle.
But yeah, you go to this, like, you go to, an Asian universe. You go to, because Hiroshima never happened and the Japanese ended up winning World War II and everything. And it's great. They go back to the Flintstones, like the newer universe where all you have to do to go to the bathroom is, one poop removal? Or Quagmire, I got AIDS again. Better take my night flow, cold flu, and AIDS. All gone. It's terrible and great at the same time, man. I love it.
It's great.
And that concludes the top Family Guy episodes. Now, we have an interesting one for you, ladies and gentlemen. Time for our great debate.
I was worried you didn't do that anymore. I was going to be upset. Okay, good.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with you here tonight is a challenge. Instead of the great debate being just another draft, because I'm starting to move away from that concept to try to build a more creative outlook with it instead of just doing the same thing over and over again. What should Family Guy make fun of next?
Mm-hmm.
You are to design sort of just doesn't have to be like great, but just a plot and what the concept is. Like, what in the world today is going to create a wonderful Family Guy episode? So, Foreigner, if you are still in the chat,
already
my
did.
friend.
He did.
Oh, he already did?
He already
You're ahead of me,
beat you to it.
fella.
He had that
I
ready.
love it. So, what is the order for today, Vo?
Tonight's order is Deke, Austin, Vo.
Okay.
Saving the best for last.
I don't
It's
think
order of
s-
importance.
Yeah, well, guest and then order of importance.
Order of operations, baby.
So I don't know if we want to have a time system or we just want to let this one go and have fun with it.
We'll just have fun with it.
Yeah, let's
roll
just
with
have
it.
fun with
A
it.
time system.
We did that last time. We had to argue in a minute while what
I got you.
Spider-Man was
No.
better. But let's do it. Let's just have
Let's
fun
just
with
have
it.
fun with it.
No time. Deke, what should Family Guy make fun of next?
I will not, Morgan, make it about Kanye, but that is a really good one. Just to let everyone know here, Foreigner, they're so scared of my ranking ability. They didn't even let me know what to debate about until the show started. So I just want to set it right there. They're so scared of losing this, Foreigner. There's one thing.
I'm winning this.
If you say Kanye, I'm saying that's cheating because Miss Morgan Murray has that up there. So what do we think about when we think about Family Guy? We think about utter just chaos, destruction, Peter spending an absorbent amount of money on absolutely nothing. All of these things, checking in on Yins because between bands, what did Austin do this time to cause shit? Shout out to Greg Malik, who was watching Sad Summer Bands.
I miss you, Greg.
Love you, buddy. Guys, what's the one thing that happened in the money world in the past year that no one can explain? Dogecoin. Hear me out. I don't exactly know the inner workings here, but Elon Musk in an episode, Dogecoin, Peter becomes a billionaire, finds an actual Dogecoin. It's the only true actual Dogecoin.
Okay.
Crashes the market. You find out the Dogecoin, Brian's face on it. I don't fucking know what else is on the episode, but it's about Dogecoin.
I like it.
That's a really good topic,
like
man.
it.
I don't think it's ever been discussed on
That
Family
I had
Guy
to find
before.
one. I was like, that's kind of in there. That's kind of in there. They have not done Dogecoin. I think the cryptocurrency market, or Peter makes his own cryptocurrency. Griffin coin, Peter coin, whatever you want to call it. He makes his own cryptocurrency, just starts buying things with it. There's something there.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It kind of makes me think of when the beer distributor company that he worked for, Pawtuckets, needed a lift in the market, so they hired a millennial in order to manage everything. And it's like,
it's so good.
It's like, you attacked me, bruh, and now my thing is wrong, bruh, and now I'm sad, bruh, and now I'm tweeting you, bruh, and now you're fired, bruh. And he's like, wait, where's bruh going? Wait, who's what?
Where's Bro going?
That's a good one, man. I like that.
Got to keep it a little up to date, so that's where my head's at.
All right. I'm not cheating on this. I had this in my mind before Morgan even put it in. So I'm telling you, this was strictly on here, man. So
Show me where you wrote it down.
Yeah.
I wrote mine down.
I don't need to write it down.
I wrote mine
It's
down
all up in
too.
Here.
I wrote mine down. I'm not showing it until I go, though.
The episode starts off essentially with a girl that both Brian and Stewie essentially fall for. So in order to get her attention, Brian creates this sort of album don't developing like his feelings and all the aggression and everything that's been pointed at him throughout the last number of years. And, you know, Stewie obviously takes offense to that, creates his own album that disses Brian and Brian's album. And then, believe it or not, the whole city gets turned into basically a war of which album was better, so much that Kanye and Drake show up themselves and debate on whose one is better. Ends up that Kanye sticks with Brian and Drake sticks with Stewie. And it's just a wonderful task of just a chaos. Essentially, all of Quahog is like, oh, you don't like this one? I hate that one. Then they just start like the whole thing breaks down to just a giant, almost like chicken fight, but it's with everybody, you know, just tearing down the city of itself. And obviously the episode ends with the girl not picking Stewie or Brian, but selecting Quagmire of all people.
It's a very good ending.
And
anytime they have giant fights, it works out.
Yeah.
And of course the episode ends with who else but Quagmire? He's Quagmire, Quagmire. You never know what he's gonna do next. It's Quagmire, Quagmire. Giggity, 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 giggity. Let's have sex. Like,
Banger.
I mean, there's nothing to argue about with that, man. It's I took that obviously from, you know, Donda CLV and just great concept that brought. So yeah, that's mine.
No, I love the idea because there's a couple times where things similar happen in Caught a Good Story. So like when Brian and Stewie both wrote the plays, and Brian's play killed it in Quahog, and then Stewie wrote a play and it was magnificent. Their book writing. So there's always a level of competition of art form for them. They have never done music. So I think that would be perfect. Like they did the songs together, and then they did blue shirt, red shirt or whatever, but they never did like diss tracks, and that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Not bad, Austin.
It sounds like you had like
Not
a whole
bad.
week to prepare for that. That's crazy.
I that's just in my head, fella.
I had one day.
Just messing with you. Oh,
and one day.
This man. I'm excited for Vo's awesome because he apparently has only seen 2 episodes of Family Guy. So
I know. I'm. This is exciting.
Maybe three.
nice.
But all right, we're gonna
close
go
my
with.
eyes to visualize it.
All right, this is gonna be a good one. So you know how Tony Hawk has recently made skateboards with his blood in the paint. So we're gonna open up. Stewie really wants one of those skateboards. There's only 100 that were made. Him and Lois go to the mall to get one, and they're sold out. So Stewie's like, I really wanted this skateboard. Like, what should I do? They're leaving. He sees Tony Hawk walking. He kidnaps Tony Hawk. And then he has a brilliant idea. Like, those skateboards made so much money. We're going to kidnap Tony Hawk, and I'm going to just make him make these skateboards with his own blood. So he, like, ties them up in a little cellar and then just has them make skateboards with his blood in it.
Please tell me that there will be like a Subway joke in there, because I think like Tony Hawk is like a big like Subway sponsor now. So if like Jared from Subway comes into that episode at some point, I'll.
Derek likes it.
I'm just making sure. 400 said, "What the fuck, though?" I'm just making sure you're thinking of the right TV show. No, here's what I'm saying.
Any TV show. It's Family Guy.
I love it. I love it.
I do love it. I figured that it was gonna be like he would turn like Tony Hawk into the skateboard.
I thought he was gonna clone Tony Hawk at first, but the kidnapping him. Vo, are you okay for?
I'm fine.
I love the topic. I think the topic is strong.
He's looking to make money off of the skateboards, is what it turns into. He wanted a skateboard, basically got screwed over
then
from
he
buying
gets his
them.
smarts.
So he's
I
an
love
evil
it.
Genius.
I would still say I would love if there was like a Subway joke in there. They've done it so often now, where they had one where a guy was just eating a sandwich and was like, "Subway, please don't think of pedophilia." Oh God.
Now, though, I think that's a strong one. I think we all had strong episodes that could be in season 26.
I love that now the great debate has become like a more creative outlook with this. I love how our ideas come together. I love each and every one of your ideas.
I love you.
I love you.
We love you.
I love you.
Sometimes.
Both.
I love commercial breaks.
I was going to say, so stick right in your seats or grab a water, use the pisser, whatever you got to do, and come back because after our commercial break, we have our top 10 ranking of the evening.
Let's dive right into sports, as I have strong opinions on that. Which college team could beat a professional team in the same sport right now?
Okay.
There is not a single answer that is better than the LSU Tigers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even if I know the pitch that's coming, every other part of me is still normal.
That's why it's frustrating for me, Greg.
It's like okay, if I know what something is coming, I know ahead of time. I still have to be able to do the action to get the result that I need.
Okay, so they won 3 games in 10 years with 3 rebuilds.
I don't lose at arguments. All
Especially about fast food. So yeah.
You will never walk alone. Guess what? Now you will. Coronavirus.
I barely touch my girlfriend's cat. The most I'd be willing to do is like just kind of put my finger on its forehead and just like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us is Alex Kazor from Steelers Depot.
We are live with Ryan Smith, professional cornhole player in the ACL. Ryan,
What all franchises were you able to work with in the NHL?
With Phoenix, Carolina, and Detroit.
So here is Moorhead's ranking. Moorhead is my cousin. He is the rank king.
Higher
Top 10 extra Power Rangers.
Oh.
Okay.
This is the top 10 emo songs of the 2000s.
There's only one correct answer for number 1. Why is F is for Family better than Futurama when Futurama is like Star Wars for potheads? Like
I know. I think
We have one or two that are mad in the chat.
you're welcome for that.
Okay, we're gonna get banned.
Oh, there's a golf ball under my foot. It stretches it out. It feels so good.
I love it.
It switched you guys again.
Because I'm the motherfucking king. Oh, there. So happy the ranking finally allowed me to use the pisser.
That's what I said.
That's good.
Like, you don't need my permission to go to the bathroom. Or
Yes, you do. Hold it in. He's been holding it in for 3 weeks now.
All right, we are back. The official ranking. Just gonna do some little adjustments there. There we go.
Baby.
Austin,
Backer.
before we start this,
Okay.
I got a message to my Instagram account
Oh,
about your Instagram ranking.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Best one ever.
Don't be worried because they think it's me that did the ranking. But it says Joe over Quagmire, delete your account.
There is no. I'm holding.
I
strong on
hate
that.
Ryan Martier.
That wasn't Ryan Martier.
Damn it.
That was
I had
Carter.
one Who?
Carter Hall.
Do I know Carter?
Plays hockey. He's a goalie.
Oh, okay. Sup, Carter?
No. As much as Quagmire brings like a sex comedic aspect of it, Joe, in his dry humor, is the funniest character, I would say, on Family Guy. Just because there's like scenes where, I think like Brian was like, "Oh, this is worse than the time that I found out that Joe was a clown," and like there's just a red ball on the ground. And he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry you had to find out about this. Don't tell anyone." He's like, "Okay, you can tell people."
The fact that there's 2 characters that get shit on a show make it so much better, because a lot of shows there's the one character that gets it, like Meg. They turn Joe from like this super cop, amazing human that was going to steal the thunder into this like just waste of life, and it's the best. Like the fact the one episode they threw him in a trash can and Quagmire was like, "You need help?" And he's like, "No, Bonnie's on her way." And so Quagmire starts walking away. He goes, "Oh, hold on. Bonnie said, never mind. She's busy." Quagmire, Quagmire. Or the episode where they go dumpster diving, and I think it's Peter goes, "Oh, cool, a working group of legs." And Joe's like, "Oh," and he goes, "Dibs." And Joe's like, "Oh, Peter." And he's like, "I called dibs, Joe." And he's like, "You did. You did."
The worst, but also funniest one is when they're going golfing and Joe hits it, and hey, Peter's like, "Hey, Joe, don't say it, Peter. Hey, I'm just wondering, Peter. I swear to God, what's your handicap?"
Yeah, I agree with Austin.
It's just he's number one in my book. And to be fair, think your camera's out of frame there, D. I'm not sure how.
There it is.
There you go. The side characters to me were someone that was outside of the Griffin family. So just like outside of the major five. That was where like the side characters came into play.
Derek will be the king for this one.
Well, I guess my only question is they were talking about Joe Swanson and Glenn Quagmire, and Austin said that he avoided family members.
The main five.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, are you just explaining the thing?
Yeah, I was just explaining because a lot of people were like, Joe, Quagmire, and Cleveland aren't side characters. They're like a part of the show. And I'm like, well, yeah, but they're still side characters. Like, they're not a major, like, they're not the family guy, so to speak.
No, I do like the episode where they go and there's a bunch of episodes where they go and try to find out where the world's dirtiest joke was made and like stuff like that. Like, they just have so many good characters, man.
Yep. Let's do it though, boys. I asked Deke to come up with his top 10, my top 10. These are the top 10 Family Guy cutaways. This is what separates Family Guy from every other show, because they had the audacity to just make fun of random shit in their show to boost time. And I absolutely loved it. A lot of points, a lot of times I feel like the cutaways are sometimes better than the concepts of the episodes. So this is what made this a top 10 for me and not the top 10 episodes. So this is how it's going to go, as it always does. Deke's going to give his 10. I'm going to give my 10. Bam, 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 domino style. He'll go 10, I'll go 10. He'll go 9, I'll go 9. So on and so forth. So D, start us off there, fella. What is your number 10 cutaway?
My number 10 cutaway. I don't think this one is really thought of highly, and it's so Family Guy does a really good job of making things stretch really long. And I love Stuck Behind Robert Loggia. Me, Robert Loggia. R as in Robert Loggia. O as in, oh my God, look over there. It's Robert Loggia. And like, some of them go way too long, but but like you're getting to the end of it. I was just a big fan of it. I thought it killed enough time and it was good.
Yeah, that was because the worst part, I think they were at an airport. I think that's where
they were waiting in line at the airport. Yeah.
Yep. And that takes long enough. So putting a guy like Robert Loggia in there was the right thing to do. My 10 is going to be a very controversial one because a lot of people.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm saying a lot of people are going to want to put this higher, but at some points I think they're overdone.
Before you gave your 10, I just wanted to let you know I did not get Deke's 10, so they will not be on the screen.
They will not be on the screen. I'm gonna look back at the texts because I don't even know if I was supposed to come up with a 10. I have a 10. I'm very good on my feet.
I did not know this was a challenge.
I didn't either, but I'm here for it.
Austin wins by default, I guess.
I did think I sent.
He said, "Show up tomorrow with your top 10 Family Guy cutaways."
Okay.
So I'm showing up today. I lost my golf ball with my top 10 Family Guy cutaways.
Okay.
Perfect. I just don't have them on the screen, but if you send them to me, I'll make the graphic and we'll do this challenge right.
Works for me.
Good. All right. My number 10 happened very early on, and it's something that made Family Guy very significant in terms of relationship down the road. And again, very controversial, but my number 10 is Ernie the chicken.
I'm trying to think of which one Ernie the chicken is.
He's the one that looks
Ernie
like a
is
chicken.
the giant.
Is it just
chicken.
the giant chicken? Okay. The original cutaway with
This is the original cutaway where there is a chicken guy outside. Here's a coupon. He's like, no, pal.
Yeah.
I already had enough times with that. And it shows like, oh yeah, outside this giant chicken gave me a coupon. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, this is expired. He's like, you son of a bitch. And then it really develops into a giant brawl throughout the city of Quahog. And over the years, Ernie just kept coming back into random scenes. And a lot of people, again, more of a significant one because it kept showing up. And they even had an episode where Ernie the chicken was dying.
Yep.
And Peter was like, "You can't die on me. Who am I gonna fight?" Like it's a great cutaway, one of my favorites, and just an absurd one, right? Because it's just a grown man fighting a human-sized chicken throughout the city over an expired coupon. So that is my number 10. We'll go to Deke with his number 9.
Yeah, my number 9 is one here that, and we'll obviously get the graphic up. It is the Yank It. The Yank It. So, Vo, for visual on this one, it is basically, it probably should be higher, to be honest. It's a Snuggie, but it also has arms so that you can jerk off anywhere in the world. So it shows a guy, he's holding a jackhammer with the arms, and he's looking at a billboard, and down low, he's jerking off while the arms are on the jackhammer, and it's bouncing. It's called the Yank It.
I actually have a picture of that one. I'll show the picture, but I won't spoil where it is.
I think you just did spoil it.
Spoil it.
It's
somewhere.
somewhere.
It is.
I loved the Yank It.
There's the picture, though.
There's multiple scenes with this. You saw at the end of the episode where Chris has one on. He's like, I love this family. It's so great. It's like, he didn't even have that on. I had to throw it on top of him. I love that one, man. It's so great. My number 9, I'll be hipper than the kids than Will Smith and his nice clean rap.
Yep.
And it cuts to Will Smith just rapping like, I was on a date and what? Like it's all just like, wipe your shoes on the floor so your parents can pay for school supplies. Say what? It's such a great. I think this is the one where Stewie pretended to be a high school student to get in with like the popular crowd. And yeah, this cutaway just because it's true. I mean, Will Smith doesn't make like, I guess the version of rap that people like just obscenely love, but that's how rap was back in the day, man, with Will Smith. Like it was just clean and enjoyable and fun. And that's what it brought to the table. And I loved that it was parodied so well, especially with his dance moves.
Yep.
in the mic. All right, D, your number 8.
My number 8 is the Will Smith clean rap. So I have that one on here. I think that it is funny because Will Smith gets such a bad rap. Funny. For his clean stuff, but it's just like the rap he spits out is hysterically clean and like so over the top, but it's also something you're like, yeah, Will Smith could have done that. So I'm with you, Austin. I like that one towards the top there.
I get that, man. It's so great. My number 8, Peter narrates his life.
Yep.
This is a good one. He's like, I walked into the kitchen, suddenly staring at the plate of supper that my wife made. Doesn't look very good, but I think I'll manage to incorporate it. And then just Lois knocks him out, and then it gets to nighttime. It's like, I awoke to the shuddering sounds. Because it's like we all want that kind of like almost like Morgan Freeman narration that goes on in their life. Just that Peter literally does it in this scene. There's actually a scene where they in an episode where they win the lottery and they can't afford their dinner. It's like with no one to take care of him, Carl Smith died just 2 weeks later. And it like cuts back to him and he's like, it's not a narration, just him talking. It's like, some say I have a broken heart. He's like, I'm sorry, sir. What did you say? Nothing, Cosdale. Nothing. But it was. Those ones just kill me, man, because it's like they know what they're doing with it. All right, Deke, your number 7.
Number 7 is one of my favorites, but I have it a little higher because I don't know how well other people love it. It is the Star Wars Sand People Choir. So Vo, basically, Peter Griffin, he says something like, this is more complicated than when I was the conductor at the Sand People Choir. And it cuts to the Sand People from Star Wars, and they're just going, and then he goes, hold on. He's like, what are we even doing? And they run away. And he goes, ah. And Obi-Wan walks over and goes, don't worry, they'll be back. And in greater numbers. He's like, good, the concert's on Thursday. It's just like, it's not one of the like more thought of highly ones. I don't know, but I love it for the Star Wars tie-in before they did Blue Harvest. So big fan of that one.
Yeah, I mean that's a glorious one just because, you already know what you're getting as soon as they say it. And it goes, and a 1, and a 2, and a like, oh my, no, the altos are off. No. Oh man, I love that one because you're right. It does start like the love of Star Wars later on in the show. It's just great. My number 7 is in fact the Yank It. This one was, it's just one of those ideas that Peter comes up with in his head. It's like, oh, you can have it at your home, at work, or sitting down at a nice, like, at your kid's soccer game. And I'm like, oh, no, God. And it's like, hey, what's going under that blanket? You'll never know. And he like winks.
It's so good.
It's like, Peter, what are you doing? Nothing. Let's watch a Scarlett Johansson film.
Yank It's great, man. Forger with the 500 bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Appreciate you, my boy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Forger.
As always, we appreciate you on this show. All right, D. Number 6.
Number 6, I have It Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. It is Chester from the Cheetos doing a line of the cheesy puff stuff. One of the more talked about, probably one of the most quotable ones, I'll say. Have it at 6 here. I just have some powerhouse ones below it, but easy being cheesy.
Yeah, because they get into a whole so I believe he's listening to Tom Sawyer by Rush, and he's like, oh my God, there's no fucking drummer better than Neil Peart.
Yep.
I love that one, man.
Easy being cheesy.
My number 6, I loved as much. I knew you were going to be on, D, so I had to throw this one in there for some Harry Potter content. This is number 6, Alan Rickman's Answering Machine.
Yeah, Alan Rickman's Answering Machine's great. I did not think about it when I made this list, but I was looking up some other ones to make sure I didn't miss it. That is one that I missed, and I'm okay with it. But it deserves to be top 5, I'll admit.
Hello, this is Alan Rickman. Hello, this is Alan Rickman, just checking in with Alan Rickman, making sure you're okay, Alan Rickman.
It's so good. And it's one that goes really, really long, though, just so you know. Kind of like the Robert Loggia. But it's a great one.
Yeah. All right, D. Number 5.
Are on number 5 here. Again, we're getting into some heavy hitters here. Number 5 for me is Butt Scratcher. Butt Scratcher. He's walking around a ballpark, though, and instead of selling hot dogs or popcorn, he's selling butt scratchers.
So I've heard people quote this one a lot.
Yes, yeah. You're getting into the quotable stage, but yeah, Butt Scratcher's great.
It's just not him that's calling it. Like, it's like, butt scratcher.
Yeah. A guy from like the 5th row is like, butt scratcher. He goes, butt scratcher.
I think it then cutaways to like Peter and Lois in bed watching TV. And then before it's like they go to bed, Peter goes, butt scratcher. I was like, no, Peter. It's like, butt scratcher.
It's good.
My number 5, we talk about how the love for Star Wars was brought into Family Guy. Number 5 for me, Darth Vader, the Meter Maid. This
good one.
Is so fucking funny. It cuts to obviously Darth Vader in a Meter Maid outfit. He's like, hey, pal, I was in there for 5 minutes. I've already started writing the ticket. You know what? I make your whole salary in a week. This is one of the longer ones because it then cuts to Darth Vader like putting his head under the shower, literally butt naked except for the helmet.
Except for the helmet, baby.
And it cuts to like him in bed with his wife. He's like, I just gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. He's like, I'll support you. And it's like he then shows him at a bank, and it's like, I'm sorry, what were you trying to build? I want to build a giant space station that can destroy planets. I don't think we have that in the budget. I mean, I want to open a sports bar. It's just so great, man.
It's so good, dude.
Some of the cutaways are long, but it is very, very well received, so to speak. D, you're up with your number 4.
Yeah, number 4 for me is Damn Nature, You Scary. So, Bo, this one has basically like a National Geographic show, and it kind of came off the heels of Snoop Dogg in his like narrating stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like, look at that cheetah. That cheetah fast as hell. Oh my God, I hit the gazelle. Damn Nature, you scary. It's just
that thing come by my house, I kill it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites there.
It like eats the heads like that little rat looking thing just got ate.
Yeah,
Damn
it's a
nature.
meerkat. That little rat looking thing just got ate.
I love
They do
that,
look like
man.
rats, so it's not
Yes,
far
they do.
off on that one.
So sorry for Pumbaa. We move to number 4 for me. This is a terrible one, but it's one of the more it's just a great one to say the least based on the character. Number 4, Them Louisiana Swamps.
Mhm.
It is a guy rolling in. It's like, excuse me, do you know how to get to town? And it's Kermit playing the banjo. And he goes, yeah, it's back the way it came. And I'm like, oh shit, this damn. This just went from 0 to 100.
Oh,
really
yeah.
quick.
That's an iconic one. It has some heavy undertones there, Seth.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, Kermit is used for how many cutaways, surprisingly, in
Decent amount.
Family Guy.
Piggy, I'm scared.
There's one where they actually, him and Miss Piggy have a kid, and it's like, Piggy, I don't think Kermit Jr. is doing very well. And it's like a half pig, half frog. Kill me! I'm in so much pain.
It's such a good one.
Then there's one where Miss Piggy goes, I'm sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Get it? And Kermit goes, please stop drinking. Oh man, it's just he's such a used character for these cutaways.
It's so good.
It's wonderful. All right, D, number 3.
Number 3, I have Peter Griffin gets a secret message in his cereal bowl. Basically, he pretends that he's eating alphabet cereal, or alphabet soup.
Okay.
And it turns, I can't remember, I think it's cereal, right, Austin?
Yeah, it's alphabet cereal.
And he goes, oh my God, there's a message in my cereal. It says, ooh. And he goes, Peter, those are Cheerios. It's so pure and so good because you're like, he's getting a message. Like, all right, cool. Like,
yeah, like what is it?
Ooh, Peter, those are Cheerios.
Oh man, I love that one. My number 3, despite my allergy to it, I couldn't leave it off this list for how great it was. Number 3, Officer Reese's.
Yep.
It is 2 cars, each with a drunk driver in it, going towards each other. He's like, oh man, I love chocolate. And the other guy's like, oh man, I love peanut butter. And they crash, and the chocolate ends up getting in the peanut butter. And the guy comes up. He's like, I'm Officer Reese's. What happened? He's like, he got chocolate in my peanut butter. He got peanut butter in my chocolate. He eats it and then looks around and literally caps both the guys with his gun. And that's how Reese's came about.
That's how Reese's Cups were made.
I always wondered that.
Me too.
It makes sense.
That's exactly
now,
where it comes from. Yeah.
It is a terrible one to
Love
say
that.
at least, man. But I love it dearly. It's one of those ones that just went over the top, and it's just so great. And now we move on to D's number 2.
Yeah, my number 2, I have a feeling it's going to be your number 1. I don't know why. My number 2 is the Cookie Monster in Rehab. Although this one is, they're basically the Cookie Monster's in like a hospital bed, and they find cookie dough under his bed, and he starts freaking out trying to eat it because he's in rehab for cookies. the Cookie Monster and his cookies is obviously something hysterical, but I love that one.
I get that, man. I love that one so much. Won't spend too much time talking about it, but we'll move on to my number 2, which was Peter and his alphabets. Again, this is just a great one where Peter literally thought he was eating alphabets.
It's so good, man.
It's like, Brian, there's a message in my alphabets. It says, ooh, Peter, those are Cheerios. Like, it's just a great one, man. Short, sweet, and hilarious to go along with that. D, your number 1.
My number 1, I think, is the most creative cutaway ever. I think that it is hilarious, and it comes from a wonderful episode. It is the National Geographic fire truck. So they are playing Trivia Pursuit, Vo.
Okay.
And basically, everyone has these insanely tough questions, and then Lois gets to Peter and says, "What color is a fire truck?" And he's like, "What color is a fire truck?" And basically goes through this whole like he's an idiot, but he says red, gets it. And he's like, "Thank God I just watched that National Geographic special on fire trucks." And it shows the fire truck going through the weeds at the savannah, chasing a gazelle down, smacking it with the ladder, eating it. And it says, "And the little ambulances come for seconds, but there is no meat left after the fire truck." And the ambulances drive up and like circle it. And he's like looking around.
Yeah, that one ends with the fire truck honking its horns, and the ambulances. It's like, the ambulances will have to wait their turn.
Yes.
Like,
It's so good.
Oh man. My number 1 is in fact the Cookie Monster rehab one. It was so good. It was used twice in an episode, and that's rarely done. But of course you have the first one where it's like contraband check, and it's just he pulls out these cookies under, and he's like, "What are these? I don't know. Derek was in here earlier, and I was on the John." And he just eats them. He's like, he gets like thrown on the bed. He's like, "You guys are Nazis, man! You're freaking Nazis!" So then it cuts away later when Lois like opens a bathroom door, and it is Cookie Monster putting cookie dough in a spoon and letting it up. No. Like, come on. He goes, "Go away!"
It's so good, man. Yeah, it's just one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's a wonderful one to say the least. And there's so many honorable mentions that could have been named here. The fire truck one was one of my honorable mentions, D. There's also another, it's so bad, but it is a National Geographic, but a woman pulls up to this Italian place, and this Italian guy says, "Hey, you can't park here." It's like, "Excuse me." And it's like, having been challenged by her normal rival, she starts removing her many earrings. And then it's like the Italian guy mentions to all the other Italian guys, making sure they're watching. And the terrible one is that after it's like, having sensed danger, a flock of Jews starts flying.
Yeah. It's a whole cityscape, man.
It's like, another one was Huey Newton and the Jews, where instead of news, it's just like, "Don't need money. Sorry, the band's breaking up."
I like the other one I was thinking about was Ringo Starr, where Ringo's like, "Hey everyone, I wrote a song," and they're like, "Oh, that's great, Ringo. Let's hang it right here, right on the fridge, where everyone can see it,
right on the refrigerator." All right.
There's the other one where they're like talk about making an album, and they're like, "Yeah, it's like when that band recorded The Rain," and he goes, "Can we get more rain?" And it's just two guys pouring rain buckets into it or something like that. There's so many good cutaways. I mean, there's a million.
I know, man. It's obviously some of them are terrible that we couldn't put in here, but it's just it's the main thing that separates the show, man, from any others. Is just their ability to there's even a cutaway with trying to get their cutaways ready for the week.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God, man. It's like Vader comes up
till on Tuesday.
Vader comes up. He's like, "You gonna need me this week?" Maybe. It's just like, "Oh, Monkey Rabbi? Yeah, you're on Tuesday. Here's your..."
They're just self-aware, man. I'm surprised you didn't have Easy being cheesy, Us.
Yeah, that was another honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
It was a tough one to put in there.
There's so many.
Oh, and like I said, I think the one thing, Ernie the Chicken could have been higher just for content purposes.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's perfectly placed.
I
So
agree.
that brings it. These will be put up. Derek will send them to Vo. They'll be put up on the socials.
Yeah, my bad, Vo.
No, you're good.
That was probably my bad for not telling you.
He didn't want to lose on Twitch, live on Twitch. No, Austin didn't.
Oh yeah, good answer.
Good
answer. Good answer.
That was probably another one of my like better episodes. Was the Family Feud one where they go and Peter ends up losing his memory when he gets knocked out. Oh my god, it's so great. But those will get put up on socials as well as our ideas for the plots. You will vote to see which one is the best, and we'll see where it goes. Deke, once again, this was a solid reunion for you, my friend. Love it.
Thank you for the 500 bits.
Thanks, Foreigner.
Always Foreigner. Thank you, my friend. Tune in to us as always every Tuesday at 6:30 on Twitch. And of course, you know, you have the other shows that go along with it. Deke, what is in store for Two Beers Deep this week?
We have the NFL preview, obviously. We'll cut into the Thursday night game, so we'll have to figure that out a little bit more. But it's full NFL. NFL's back. The entire show is basically going to be very football heavy. We'll discuss Vid is the best. What up, Chipper? We'll discuss a little bit about the TFTB Fantasy Football League because that draft is tomorrow night off camera. Vose is the best, Chip said.
Thanks, Chip.
What up, Dad?
Always got my back.
So an awesome show coming up, and then every Sunday morning you can find me and Austin right here on Twitch to talk about fantasy football, which will turn it into a little bit of betting as well. So
always. And, just the great content that this platform
Check
brings.
out All Purpose Garbage, Thoughts on the Bench's college football show with myself and Smalls. Episode 3 drops this week.
Yep. Just great shows that go along with it. You can always find us. The articles, let it be known, I will be dropping my power rankings for the NFL tomorrow. So those will be dropped for you guys to see where teams stand. And on Thursday, you will get your annual yearly stardom situms. Those are coming back to you as well to decide which in your fantasy lineups you should start, you should sit. Or you could not listen to me. Who the hell knows? And you can screw up. I don't know. I'm just a guy that loves fantasy football. So, and with that, thank you again, Deke. You can find us here next week. I was trying to find something else to rhyme with that, but I couldn't. So instead, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Court is adjourned.
It's hard to do everything.
Court is adjourned.